So, good morning, everyone. Morning. Oh, you're awake. Okay, great, brilliant. So, my name's Jason Hart. I'm the CTO for Gemalto. Bit of background about myself: information security for 24 years. 10 years of my life, I was an ethical hacker before the days hacking was even cool, or even security was even a word or used. Really, today for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you a bit of an insight, make it very interactive, give you some live examples, but really the problem we're about to face. We're entering the world of IoT. It's yet to even start. Big data's been around for some time, but the collaboration of these two problems as I see them. Really, the opportunity I see for yourselves today is, one, when you're talking to customers to make them more secure. Secondly, to generate revenue for yourself. This problem can be solved overnight. I've just done an article for the EU. They're on about bringing out new standards. I've been very, very direct with them and said, look, this problem can be solved overnight. If you implement information security properly, do the basics properly, we wouldn't have this problem we have today. And it doesn't need to be technical, and it can be very, very simple. So my objective today for the next 30 minutes is prove to you how simple it can be, give you some key takeaways to use when you're engaging with customers, and then hopefully that will drive revenue and opportunities for yourself. Okay? I've got a few giveaways, so the more interaction, the more gifts I give away. I've only got so many gifts, so I suggest you start putting your hands up first if I start asking questions. Also, during the presentation, towards the end, we're going to do a bit of a live hack, and I'm going to show you how susceptible you all are. And in fact, during the last 5 minutes, you've actually all been compromised already, but I'll show you that in due course. When I do show you what I do show you, I haven't actually compromised any personal information. I've done the first part of the attack. With one more click, I could own your life and I can own your business. Okay? So I just want to make that very clear. I'm within the law. I know we have Washington just here, you know, NSA kicking around everywhere, whatever, but I am within the law, all right? Because sometimes people get a bit sensitive. But I've done nothing wrong, promise. So let's kick off then. He says, I actually might need your clicker. So, how many people have heard of Uber? Actually, could I have his clicker at the back if that's okay? Could I borrow your clicker? I will take it. So how many people have heard of Uber? Yeah? Okay. What makes them so special? Anyone?
Easy.
It's easy. What's easy about it?
App-driven. You don't have to call anyone. You do it with no personal time.
Yep. User experience, yeah? It's all about the user experience. What else makes them so special?
They hit a sweet spot
Yeah.
in terms of understanding it was a consumer market for that type of ride share.
And what makes them evolve so quickly and adapt and accelerate the market so quickly?
They crack the code and use of data.
Data, exactly. Yeah, it's all about data. So we're entering a world where it's all about user need, user experience. So if you can take something very, very complicated and make it very, very easy, the rate of adoption will just organically happen. But you can only do that if you have access to data and using data in the appropriate way. What about Amazon?
Sort of similar to the same thing. If you have a lot of data on new users and you're harnessing that to create a powerful customer experience, give customers what they want. Really, this is data.
Okay, great. Okay, let's do this manually. Frustrating. Facebook, the world's largest media owner, and they create no content. Alibaba, the world's most valuable retailer, hold no stock. Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, and have no real estate. One thing they have in common is data. The ability to look at data, extract data, use that data to make a business decision, ultimately creating a better user experience. Better user experience, better analytics, better data, generates a lot of money. Very disruptive. We're in a world of data. And that's ultimately what business is about now. The more data I can create, the more data I can monetize. Did you know, in the year 2000, the world generated 2 exabytes of new information? 2 exabytes. How many do you think we generated every single day last year? Anyone? Guess. Sorry? How many?
2 exabytes a day.
Who said 2 exabytes a day? 2 exabytes a day. And IoT barely even started. And what's the objective of IoT? Anyone? What's the core objective?
Collection of data, repurposing.
Okay. I get so frustrated when people talk about things. It's all about things. Then I see in the press, Internet of Things could be hacked. Do I really care if my coffee maker can be hacked? No, but what I do care about, if the coffee maker is used as a proxy to get access to wider data, and this is the problem. The coffee machine barely has any data. And in a recent, does anyone see any CNET last week about the kettle, the video? That was myself, unfortunately, sorry. Unfortunately, the article was slightly twisted the wrong way, but the objective of that article was to say, I don't care that my kettle's been hacked. But what I did care, the hack I actually showed, was the ability to take a known vulnerability in the kettle itself, which allowed me then to extract the private key of the network it was connected to. So that organization had gone to a lot of effort of protecting their wireless network with a private key. Okay? Very high level of security to a point. But if I can force that kettle, de-auth it, and connect it to me, the example bad guy, conduct a vulnerability, a very simple vulnerability against the kettle, now it's connected to me, extract the wireless private key and see it in clear text, I can use that wireless key now to connect my laptop to the network to start extracting the data. And this is what people don't realize. I don't care if the thing can be compromised or breached. It's what can be done after. And the bad guys are starting to use the things as a proxy to get to the wider information. And for me, it's all about service. That's IoT. IoT isn't new. It's something that's been around for years and years and years. It's just a different name for something different. Ultimately, in IoT, we have different business models. It's sharing. It's all about collaboration and sharing now. It's about divulging tasks to a machine, to a thing, so we can scale and create automation. And it's about supply chain efficiency. That's IoT. It's as simple as that. In order to do this, it generates data. With the data, we monetize, etc., etc. However, IoT is distributed. We are now in a distributed world. We're not used to a distributed world. We've been used to a client-server-based world. The ability to secure things in a client-server world is different to a distributed world. IoT is about trust. And unless you can trust the thing, the identity, the data, the integrity, the confidentiality, how can we explode and start utilizing IoT in a way that actually we can maximize and trust? So we need to think differently. And we've got a big problem. People keep breaking things. It's technology. What man creates, man can break. This is a recent attack using voice, using acoustics to crack the device. There's always going to be a way. However, at the point of design of IoT or the ecosystem of the IoT environment, we can solve these problems. You can do some fundamental basics from relating to information security that prevents this. So attack prevention is a broken model. People spend their life thinking, I'm going to prevent a breach from happening. Sorry, you're never going to prevent a breach from happening. We need to start thinking differently. Breach acceptance. Accept a breach is going to happen. By accepting a breach is going to happen, you're going to start thinking, what should I protect? Experian. Again in the news yet again yesterday. A portal with a default username and password. Come on. Did their firewall prevent the attack? No. People think because they have certain controls, the perimeter controls in place, they're going to stop an attack. As I said, for 10 years of my life, I was an ethical hacker. For me, a firewall was a speed bump. It just slowed me down. It didn't prevent. Prevention's not going to work. We need to start thinking differently, and more so with the IoT environment. So we need to adapt or become irrelevant. So you may have gathered from my accent, I'm English. And in England, anyone been to England? Yeah? Recently, past 5 years? Yeah, how many people? 20 years? Okay, I can just work to your age out, it's fine. Do you remember this? Yeah? You don't see these in England anymore. You really don't. The mobile phone came along, and they become irrelevant. People do have them in their gardens now. What do you think they use them for in the gardens? Come on, I'll give a prize. No. Keep thinking.
Toilet.
Close, keep going. Showers. Seriously, people have these in their gardens in England and use them as showers. Yeah. They have a problem with rust, a few years later because it gets a lot of moisture inside, but they have them as showers, yeah. So they've adapted them and they become irrelevant. So we need to start thinking differently. And when you go into your customers, you have 3 types of customers. And also we have 3 types of people in this room. The first one is situational aware. Is understanding the impact and the risk between people, data, and process. So how many of you go into a customer, or does a customer engage in a conversation with yourselves, and you talk about people, data, and process? How many of you? None of you. Not even some of the biggest CISOs in the world I talk to. So they are not situational aware. If I was to go into your business or one of your customers' business, I won't be talking product. I'll be saying, tell me about your business. Tell me about the people. Tell me about the processes. Now let's think IoT. IoT, we have multiple personas. We have the IoT manufacturer. The IoT manufacturer is making stuff. There's risks there. In order for that IoT device, there'll be a cloud service. There's risks there. The consumer then's using the thing in the cloud. There's risks there. Then you have third parties coming in. There's risks there. Different types of risks based on different types of personas. So unless you understand your customers' people, data, and process, how can you start supporting them and helping them implement the appropriate security controls? You can't. You can sell them a firewall, but look, they're still going to be breached. So you need to think holistically. Has anyone ever heard of Jason Bourne? Great films, yeah? He has this amazing ability to know that something's going to happen before it happens. And it's called situational awareness. And in fact, it's a military term. People spend years understanding and fine-tuning their situational awareness. It drives my wife crazy, by the way. Then we have the second type of organization, the ignorance. Not even considering the impact of people, data, and process. I've got a firewall, I've got some antivirus. So what? It's never going to happen. And they're the ones that are compromised. And then finally, these are the ones that make me laugh, and crikey, they have some money to spend, is the arrogance. I've just spent $10 million on securing my infrastructure. Really? Okay. 2 weeks later, the front page news. It happens time and time again because they haven't looked at the data, the people, and the process. Even more so in an IoT environment. And they believe money always solves the issue. It doesn't. You need that 360 view. You need that situational awareness. Once you understand people, data, and process, you're pretty good, yeah? And you can actually look at the risks. Big organizations have a security policy, group security policy. And they say then to their subdivisions or sub-organizations, you have to comply to this group policy. However, each group organization has different levels of risk. So if you're just putting blanket cover across, this over here has a different risk exposure to this organization over here. And if you're applying the same controls, of course one of them is going to be compromised. So you need that situational awareness. So situational awareness is the bad guy's weapon. Been doing this for so long now. It's all about the process. Anyone remember PCI or has heard of PCI? Yeah? Finally, it's very, very good. But the early days, on record, I laughed. I said, brilliant, thumbs up, we're doing something right. Some standards which actually spell out the controls you need to do. But it said, you shall do X. In a database, you should do Y. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, as a bad guy, you're telling all these organizations to do that just there. What about the other sides of that environment? As a bad guy, I'm going to go this side before the database or after the database where the control isn't. Guess what? We've seen compromises because the standard said do X. If you were looking at all sides of data, people, and process, we could have solved a lot of the problems earlier on. So, since 2013, we've seen 5 billion pieces of data compromised. This is recorded breaches. This doesn't include all the breaches which happened and people haven't reported. And this is before IoT is yet to start. This is going to double, if not triple. Data is the new oil. And it's never been so easy for the bad guys to find it, extract it, and refine it. Once they've done this, they distribute it and monetize it. And that's what the bad guys want. They just want data. They don't care what type of data, whose data it is. They get a piece of data from here, a piece of data from there, and they start mining it together and they monetize it. It's all about data. So when you go into your customers, you need to start thinking slightly differently. You need to master your situational awareness. So what's their environment? More importantly, what's the user's needs? If you're going in to talk about IoT, tell me about the persona. What are the user needs? What type of users? Is it the manufacturer? Is it the consumer? Is it the cloud provider? Is it the third party? It's the third party developer, etc., etc. Understand that whole ecosystem. Then map the risks. And the risks are very simple. Confidentiality risks, integrity risks, availability, accountability, and auditability. Fundamental principles of information security. And if you haven't spoken to your customer about those, how can you give them the right solution? And that really frustrates me. Because if you don't know the risks based on confidentiality, integrity, accountability, auditability, etc., you can't give them the right solution to solve the problem. And I see this time and time again. And your customers will love you for it because you're asking questions they've never been asked before. And it's a different conversation. You're not going in saying, which product do you want today, sir? You're going in and talking about their needs and their problems and then mapping it back. More importantly, if you start identifying those risks based on confidentiality, integrity, accountability, you won't just sell one solution, you'll sell multiple solutions across the whole Arrow portfolio. But ultimately, the customer will be more secure. Also, in data security, there are three elements. There's technology, there's process, and there's one other element you should be thinking about. Anyone? These are drones, by the way, just so you start putting your hands up even more. One third element, I've mentioned it a number of times. You've got a drone, so people. Okay, catch. Sorry, Andy, nearly had your head. It's people. So we've got confidentiality, integrity, accountability, and auditability, data, people, and process, situational awareness. So the environment is people, data, and process. The data locations in the database, in the file, in the folder, in the VM, in the network. This is everywhere all this data goes. The types of data, Is it personal identifiable information? Is it credit card information? Is it healthcare, trade secrets? Is it just data? Doesn't matter, but you need to know the type of data. Once you know the type of data, you can start applying the appropriate risks. But you can only do that if you know about the people, the data, the process, and the risks based on confidentiality, integrity, accountability, and auditability. This is the only conversation you need to be having with your customers. Once you know that, you can start applying the appropriate solutions. I'm going to be biased. It's about Gemalto. It's authentication, encryption, key management, and root of trust. But seriously, you can apply what I'm saying to any technology that Arrow have in their portfolio. So from an attack point of view, from an IoT point of view, it's about the bad guys taking control, taking ownership, stealing information, or disrupting the service. These are the three main attacks. 4 or 5 years ago, I created a white paper. So in England, I live in quite a rural area. I have 2 farmers, George and Will. Some of you, Andy, I know you've heard this before. They're geek farmers, by the way, similar age to myself. One has a green tractor. Does anyone know what the green tractor is, the name? Cool. And the red tractor? Massey Ferguson, come on, Rolls Royce of tractors. George has got the green one, Will's got the red one. Anyway, they came round, we drank some cider, as you do on a Sunday afternoon in England, and they were really pumped, and they were showing me their apps. Their apps could control their tractors, new versions, IoT-enabled tractors. I'm like, wow, this is great. I love farming and I love technology and I'm just in my element and I'm drinking cider. Yeah, come on. Anyway, I started thinking like a bad guy. What's the value, what's the user need to George and Will? Well, they subscribe £100, or say roughly, $90 a month for access to this information. The information from George and Will's point of view, they can look at the crop quality, the soil quality, the yieldage, the acreage, etc. They monetize that. They can make decisions based on their farming to make more money for themselves. Okay, I get that. That's worth $90 a month. Then I'm thinking, okay, but what value is the manufacturers getting out of it? Real-time information on how the tractor's being consumed and used, just-in-time deployment of spare parts. There's a lot of value add there, yeah? Then I'm thinking, hold on, but if they can look at the soil quality, the crop quality, surely they can do that across the whole of Europe, the whole of the world. Mine the data, anonymize the data. What would you do then with that data? Sell it to the commodity markets. Right, now be a bad guy. IoT, push a firmware update, alters the integrity of the data. No one knows, divides it by 3. At the same time, you put money on the commodity markets. It's the world we're entering into, what I call integrity attacks. To date, we've seen confidentiality attacks. Data's compromised, breached, publicized, so what? Integrity attacks, no way out. We make business decisions based on that data, which has been generated by the IoT device that has been put into big data, analytics. We believe it's right, don't we? What if it's not? We make a business decision, 3 years downstream, oh shit, can't go back. So integrity is going to become massive. When you're talking to your customers, integrity has to be up there. Use that story. But also confidentiality is just important as well. But we're about to enter a world of integrity attack. So, just to show you how easy. This is a Boolean expression. I've been doing this for about 15 years now, for as long as Google has been around. It's called Google hacking. Me and a fellow American person came up with the concept many, many years ago. If I was to type that Boolean expression into Google, what do you think it would extract? Private keys from GitHub. Does anyone know what a private key is? So when you encrypt stuff, data, you generate a key, a private key. That private key you just keep it so safe, yeah? But people are storing them in cloud environments, in unsecure places. It needs to be kept in let's say, a virtual secure vault. By typing that into Google, I can extract those private keys. In this case, almost 5,000 of them I own that data, I own that organization. Next one. Oh, there's the private key, by the way. Okay. So there we go. 4,000. That's the key itself. FTP. Anyone familiar with FTP, File Transfer Protocol? Why shouldn't we use FTP? It's clear text, see it in clear. So guess what we did? Secure FTP. It's encrypted. Brilliant. But like I've always said for years, what if I can see the password or the credential in clear anyway? It doesn't really matter, yeah? So with this Boolean expression, anyone familiar with APIs? IoT lives on APIs and FTP, yeah? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to extract all the FTP credentials, secure FTP credentials in clear text. So we type in the Boolean expression. In this case, we've just got under 400. And click on one, and there we go. I'm just pulling this out of the cloud. Down here, the password is really, really secure. It's password, and there's a username. If you type in that Boolean expression yourself into Google, thousands there. Good leads as well, by the way. Nothing illegal about what we've just done. Usually do it live, but because sometimes the internet can be a bit, and we're using the internet for something else, as you'll find out in a minute. So, accepting the future, or the places we will go. Forget everything you know about information security. We need a new mindset, yeah? We need to transform your mind, and more importantly, your customer's mind, from breach prevention to breach acceptance. They need to accept a breach is going to happen. They need to believe that what the controls they have are not going to work. By accepting a breach is going to happen, you're going to force a mind change in understanding the situational awareness about people, data, and process. What are the risks for confidentiality, integrity, accountability? And that's the change we have to make, and only us together can do that. And ultimately, you benefit from it as well. Need to think like a bad guy. What's the bad guy after? Here you go. I won't chuck it, actually. I will. That's what he wants, is the data. He doesn't care where the data is. Data's the new oil. So what should we do? Very, very simple. Kill the data. If we kill the data, we kill it by encrypting it. But not only encrypting it, when we encrypt it, we need to look after that key and secure the key. Not only encrypt it, control access to the thing and the person. And we do use that by multi-factor authentication. Crypto loves cloud and data. It does. It's the perfect marriage. Bad guys, they hate it. Because if they compromise and capture the data is rendered useless. Yep. It's culture. Data security is everything and everyone's responsibility. But we've just got to go back to the fundamental principles. It's really, really simple. Data, people, and process, confidentiality, integrity, accountability, and auditability. Once you know those, then you apply the appropriate security solution. If you're not doing that now, or even asking these questions, one, you're leaving money on the table. Two, your customer is still exposed. Talking of being exposed, look at your phones. Look at your phones. Is anyone connected to their home Wi-Fi or their office Wi-Fi? Sure, because we're going to show them now. While I've been talking, we've done something called a karma attack. Every single Wi-Fi enabled device and even Bluetooth device that you've ever connected to and trusted to, your device is always transmitting, looking for that, irrespective if it's connected to another Wi-Fi. I can see that, or the bad guy can see that. He can then automatically force you to disconnect from the Wi-Fi you're on and connect back to the bad guy. So in some cases, you believe that you're connected to the Marriott Wi-Fi here, or you could be connected to the home Wi-Fi and office Wi-Fi, or a Wi-Fi that's not associated to here. In fact, you're connected to me. What does that mean if you're connected to me? I see everything. So let's see who we've got. So let's refresh. Recognize any names there? I'm going to have to do this like this. So we've got, I can't really see this actually. Can we adjust the, is there any way we could adjust that so people can see their names? No, that's okay, that's better, that's good. Okay. All right, what I'll do, I'll switch it across to me, then I can read out the names. How's that? Help. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to cheat. Right, so we have, drum roll, ready for this? We have, okay, Brendan's, Eric, Carol's, James, Gabrielle, Rebecca's, me, Sam's, Carol's, lots of Mike, Kevin's, Samson's, Lonis, Jim Miller's. Any of these names being recognised? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. And you're connected, some of you are connected to your home Wi. Carol, did I read Carol? Carol, you're connected to here, but you're not. You're connected to me. Oh, this is really interesting. We've got to show you this, okay? This is as far as I could go. But let me show you this. Someone was surfing the web, because I can actually see all the pictures as well, just to show you very quickly. And what we've done here we go. This is some of the pictures I can see because you're all surfing the web. I can start seeing these. Anyone recognize any of these pictures? Who's been shopping while I've been chatting, eh? Come on. What's the respect, yeah? Come on. Oh, look, London, yeah, see, yeah, there you go. I don't go any further because this does expose other stuff, but there you go. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Again, when you're speaking to customers, it's all about confidentiality, integrity, and availability, okay? I'm going to be around for the next couple of hours, so if you want to talk more, but this problem can go away tomorrow. Gemalto, the world's leader in data security, okay? Thank you.
So can you tell us briefly what Gemalto offers?
Yeah, great. So every single one of you will have Gemalto in your pocket, believe it or not. So basically, anything that needs protecting, embedded technology, the SIM on mobile phones, it's all Gemalto. Your passport is Gemalto. The division we come from, E&C, we specialize in encryption, key management, and authentication. One of the world's largest security vendors in the world. But not many people know about us, unfortunately. Anyone heard of SafeNet? Gemalto acquired SafeNet. Okay?
Yeah, we use, I sell Hitachi.
Yes.
We use Gemalto for all the key management.
All the key management, exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's Gemalto actually secure every single major transaction that happens in the world, yeah? And it's available for you to sell and make some good money. Okay, thank you guys and ladies.